Hey Joe Pal from Bark, and today we're going to try Peak Refuel Biscuits and Gravy versus Mountain House Biscuits and Gravy. We'll do a quick tale of the tape. A whole bag of the Peak Refuel is 1,100 calories. Get that in a little better so you can see it. It's 196 grams overall weight, 1,780 grams of sodium if you eat it, and there's 34 grams of protein. The Mountain House is 560 calories. If you eat the whole bag, it's 1,730 milligrams of sodium, yikes, and 22 grams of protein. So quite a bit less calories than the Peak Refuel. This guy weighs, what was it, 124 grams total. Here's the ingredient list for those inclined to read those things. And your ingredient list for the Peak Refuel. Both of them are pretty similar. Here's a look at the Mountain House that I just opened up. You got your biscuit bits on top. Boy, it's packed in there tight. I'm having a hard time stirring it with one hand. Get the little tiny sausage bits, and I guess the rest of that's going to be gravy underneath there. Here's a look at the Peak Refuel. Now, the interesting part about this is it actually comes with a complete biscuit. If you want that to rehydrate properly, you're going to want to crumble that up a little bit. But here's oh wow, there's three of them in there. But you got a lot of sausage in there, and I'm going to guess the gravy seasoning is down at the bottom. Found this kind of interesting, despite the fact that the Mountain House is 70 grams lighter than the Peak Refuel. It actually uses 1.5 cups of water versus the Peak Refuel using 1 1/3 cup. That's our whole bag of biscuits and gravy, Mountain House style. And here's our Peak Refuel biscuits and gravy. Try to get everything out of the bag. You know what? It doesn't really look like that much more stuff. I mean, it is, but it kind of doesn't look like it on the plate. All right, here we go. Taste test time. Get our Peak Refuel on. It's really good. Fantastic. Let's give the Mountain House a taste test. Get my spoon in there. Here we go. Oh, it's hot. The Peak Refuel that I had on the first bite was bordering on nearly cold, so I just chomped right into the Mountain House, and it was actually very hot. Here we go, another try. Let's give one of these big old pieces of biscuit a try. I think Peak needs to follow the Mountain House portion for water. 1.5 cups would probably be a little better than 1 1/3 cups. The biscuits are almost perfectly rehydrated. There's just a little crunch in there. It's actually not bad, but it's just, if you like your biscuits more soft than crunchy, then you're going to want to put a little more water. I'm going to try a standalone Mountain House biscuit. Kind of the same thing. I actually erred on the side of safety and put a 1 1/3 cups in, just like I put in for the Peak Refuel. But yeah, put the whole 1.5 cups in on the Mountain House. I'm going to say that I like the gravy on the Peak just maybe a little bit better. It's really super close. They both are pretty mild with a little peppery flavor at the ending. If yours like yours a little zippier, you're going to want to bring some hot sauce or extra pepper or something to the party. I do like the biscuit with the Peak Refuel way better. It just feels like you're eating a real biscuit. The Mountain House is really good, but this is, when you go side by side, back and forth, this is a lot better. This is being the Peak Refuel. I've had about the same amount of bites. That's the Mountain House, and this is the Peak Refuel. And you can see that the Peak Refuel has way more sausage than the Mountain House does. And you're paying for that a little bit in the price of the item, but you're also getting enough sausage to last all the way through the meal and a lot more protein and a lot more calories. So I kind of on the side of the Peak Refuel on this one. So to put a camper on the old Peak Refuel Mountain House biscuit and gravy debate, technically the Mountain House is a little cheaper per gram, but the difference is really very slight. Overall, I'd have to say I 100% prefer the Peak Refuel in this instance. Definitely worth the extra pennies if you get the opportunity to buy it.